Hello, hello. Give me a second to finish my din din. We might be on. Hello, Sushi. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna take a little bit more bites of my food and then we'll go ahead and get started. I got some rice and vegan kebabs. Oh, that sound might have picked up on the mic. Thank you, thank you. Hello, hello. Hi, Kudakata. Hello. Give me just 30 seconds. I'm just gonna inhale this food, and then we'll get started. I'm gonna go on mute for a second. Okay. So choo choo choo. What did I say it like that? Hey May. Hello. We're gonna go ahead and get started, or at least let me check out my setup and make sure everything is as it needs to be. So let's switch over. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So that seems to be working. My marquee seems to be working. Let me know if you guys hear any noise in the background because the neighbor kids can be a little bit noisy sometimes. But yeah, so as you can see, got a little Magmite. He'll be joining us. I got it from, for those who are interested. Yeah, it's a Magmite. Let me get the user that I ordered it from. Though she's out, I'm pretty sure they're out of Magmites, but they are gonna be making some vesties soon. I'll put it in the chat. There we go. Yeah, it's from this person, Luna and Noctu Arts. They're the ones that made this cute Magmite. Let me show. Isn't that cute? What I like is the little hands, or like the little like fingers. They're like the size of my own fingers. So if you ever just want to hold hands, you could just do that. Isn't that super cute? Oh yeah, and it doesn't squeak, but I like it that way because then like I won't get woken up in the middle of the night by me like accidentally squishing it. But yeah, so Magmite will be joining us. And yeah, so Luna Noctu Arts, if you follow their Twitter, they said that once the Magmites are sold out, and I believe they have sold out, they're gonna get started on Vesties. So look forward to that. Oh, and I should put on some music. Let me make sure the volume's all right. And then let me see if... Oh, it's not reading it. My OBS is not reading it, so let me just... Bigfoot? Okay, so it might be kind of faint, but... Let me know how that sounds. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with some tarot card readings! I'm a little bit nervous, even though I've been reading tarot cards for like... since I want to say like 2018-ish? Oh, my plate is still in the way. I'm still a bit of a beginner, so you know, like bear with me in that. Audio okay, thank you Sushi, thank you. So yeah, as you can see here, I have two decks. I have a really cool one that's Vaporwave themed. You have the same deck, that's awesome. Wait, let me know which one. Is it the and sorry if I peek the mic, let me actually adjust my mic settings. Okay, just want to make sure I don't peek the mic. But yeah, I have the Tarot Wave one, and then I have this one, Tarot of the Divine. Oh, cool. Yes, sushi. I love this one. I love this one a lot because of the mythology and history in it. So, I'll be using both of these. And I'll let y'all also kind of like pick which ones you might want to use, but the Tarot Wave one I usually use for like my personal readings, and I'll be doing some sample ones before we get started. And then this one is the one I generally use for other people, but you know, if y'all want me to use this deck, I can use that one as well. But this one is cool because okay, sorry, rewind. So this one, hi Mowo, hello, hello. We're just getting started too with our tarot card readings, but I'm just showing off my two decks. So this one is based off vaporwave aesthetic. So, you know, it has like some old computer stuff. I know my light is kind of reflecting off it very strongly. And there's a little bit of lag in the camera, but hopefully that won't be too troublesome. But yeah, it's vaporwave themed. This is the one that I use for like personal readings. Yeah, super fancy. And then this one is really cool. This is Tarot of the Divine. And what it is, it uses themes from mythology, folklore, local stories. So, you know, like this looks Norse, we have indigenous, American indigenous, we have Russian, Egyptian, just from all over the world. And I believe the artist is Yoshitani, who is multiracial Japanese. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Oh, no worries, Sime. No worries. Thank you for dropping by, though. And good luck with that company event. If you need to recharge your social battery, feel free to do so after. Yeah. So the deck art is really, really cool. But yeah, so yeah, I've been doing tarot for like since 2018, so that's, oh my god, like what, 4 or 5 years. But I'm still a bit of a beginner. I still use cheat sheets. In fact, for the Tarot of the Divine, I still have the help book, the cheat sheet book over here. Oh, you might be back. Awesome. Hi, Nyanda. Hello. No, not at all. We just got started. You're not late at all. We just got started. I haven't really started doing any readings yet. But what I'm gonna do actually is I tried to set up this thing called like play with viewer. I already forgot what it's called, but I'm going to. So first, I'm actually gonna read Kudaketa because I put out a Google form earlier, but I'm pretty sure the algorithm made it disappear. But I'm pretty sure Kudaketa filled out the form, but I'm pretty sure you just asked for a simple 3-card reading. Let me just go to my email real quick. Yeah, so I'm gonna read Kudaketa first, and then I'm gonna open up a queue. I tried to set up something. Yeah. So I do have a Google form, and it's if you want to ask like questions. But I also have another thing going, which is I'm gonna set up a queue right now. And if you want to enter the queue, first I have to open it. But then you pretty much just type join, like exclamation point join. Not yet. Don't do it yet. But and then that will add you to a queue, just so I don't lose track of like who requested first. But yeah. So, how about this? I'm gonna send y'all the form if you want to fill it out. This is like if you want to ask a question. But I'm still gonna have you do the queue thing as well. So, feel free to fill it out, but do the queue. So that'll determine what order I do things. But I'm gonna start off with Kudaketa first. Let me see. You asked for, yeah, past, present, future. So here's how it goes. The form asks for different types of readings. Like you can ask a question and I'll draw one card, and the response to that question would be the interpretation of the card would be the response. Or you could just do what I also call like card of the day, where I would just, you know, draw one card. Let me test it out right here with my trusty Tarot Wave deck. So I would like draw one card and then oh, I drew this before as a test run. And that would kind of be like the vibe of the day, or just something to kind of like pay attention to throughout the day, that kind of thing. Yeah. Trying to remember, so 3 of Wands would be like, Wands have to do with kind of inspiration and passion, but the 3 is, let's see, there's a crumbling building over here. So kind of like security. I'm already blanking out of nervousness. So let me go ahead and default to my cheat sheet. This would be for myself, by the way. So let's see. Oh, there we go. So yeah, this is from a pyramid. This is from a specific pyramid now that I look at it. But so this would represent, you know, like your passion, but like in terms of how your passion is being directed, it would be more towards like adventure or hard work or rewards or trying something new. If it was reversed, it would be like having a poor foundation or like no sense of adventure, that kind of thing. So that's just a sample. That's just a sample. Let me take a deep breath and try to remember the original meaning. Hard work and rewards, journeying, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that would be a sample of mine. And I think because we have a good amount of people here, let's just go ahead and get started with some readings. So that would be an example of like card of the day. Another one would be, like I said, you ask a question, I draw a card, and the interpretation of the card would be the response. But the one that I'm going to be doing right now for Kudeketa is called Past, Present, Future. And what that means is I would draw 3 cards. Oh yeah, no problem, Momo. Feel free to lurk, and anyone else in the chat as well. You don't have to participate if you're here. If you want to just lurk, or if you want to just, you know, tune in, feel free. Feel free. No pressure at all. But yeah, so the past, present, future type of drawing would be I would draw 3 cards. The first card would be like something in your past that is affecting you right now. You know what? The music is a little loud for me, even if it's soft for you all because of my settings. Let me lower that. There we go. The first would be the past, something from the past, the recent past that's affecting you right now. The second card would be something that is going on right now in the present that is either like drawing your attention or is affecting you as well. And then future, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets into kind of my philosophy with tarot. The future isn't necessarily what's going to happen to you in the future. It's anything that you are thinking about for the future. So like your anxieties or something that you might want to keep in mind in order to achieve the future that you want. And in terms of kind of like my personal philosophy, I kind of put it down at the bottom in the marquee or in the scrolling text that personally, I don't see tarot as like these magical cards that can predict the future or tell what someone else is thinking. So any questions that are like, oh, what does like this person think of me? Or what's going to happen to me today? Like for me personally, I don't believe the cards can predict that. And you know, if you believe differently, that's totally fine as well. If you want to interpret it differently, completely fine, but I just want to let you know how I personally interpret it. But for things that have to do with the future, it's more so not what's going to happen. It's what you might be anxious about or what you might need to prepare for the future. It's an internal thing for me. It's a reflection and introspection thing. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and shuffle these cards. What I usually like to do when I read for people is if I'm doing it in person, I'll have them shuffle almost to kind of like give it a little bit of their it's interesting because like I don't know whether or not I really believe in stuff like their energy and stuff, but it's almost like you're giving the cards your energy. But because we're not doing this in person, I'm just going to be thinking of Kudeketa as I as I shuffle. Hi Mega Bronson. No, not give it their stank. No, I love giving readings for people. So yeah, I'm kind of just, you know, thinking of Kudeketa and kind of giving like, you know, what kind of reading would be most relevant for Kudeketa. And then once we're done with this one, I'm going to open up the queue. And then we'll see who else wants a reading. And then there's different ways I like to shuffle. Sometimes if I haven't like interacted with a deck recently, I'll do like just like an all-out kind of like just spread it out, just like shuffle them as best I can. This way you also try to shuffle like which ones are upside down or reversed as we call it as well. Or I will do something like this where I like do it into threes, and then occasionally I'll flip one upside down and just kind of like really randomize it. It's almost like refreshing the deck almost. So I won't do that whole shebang right now. But that's just an example of like ways that I personally shuffle. And then I do the way that I showed you before where I just like split it into two and like shuffle like when you're doing a poker game. There's also this one that you see in Yu-Gi-Oh! The one where you like do like that. But my hands are too small to do that properly, so the cards just fall out. Hello, Roku Sanae. Hello, welcome, welcome. I just started with a reading. We're doing a reading for Kudeketa, and we're doing a past, present, future reading. You have this deck too? Awesome. I love the art, and I love kind of like the imagery for it as well. So, alright. Another thing is sometimes I draw from... Yu-Gi-Oh! Shuffle is bad for long boys like this. Yeah, to be honest, like, my cards are already starting to kind of like fold a little bit. But yeah, I should be better about that. And in terms of picking cards, you know, typically I don't just pick the top three. I just like spread it out like this, and I just kind of like pick at random. But sometimes if I'm feeling very, I guess, spiritual, I'll try to be like, okay, which energy like is like am I feeling right now? Which one's given the most energy? Yeah, my relationship with spirituality is a bit like it's not very defined. I don't know how superstitious I really am. It really depends in the moment. But let's go ahead and pick top one for past, but I'm thinking this one for present, and then for future, someone in the back. Or one in the back. Thinking this one. And if I forget to explain anything, or if you have any questions, not just to Kudeketa, but anyone, feel free to ask, because like I said, I do tend to get nervous the first time I try new things on stream. So sometimes when I'm nervous, I'm just like, all right, let's just jump right into it without like properly explaining things. So let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise let's go ahead and do this reading. So let's go ahead and flip them over. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords reversed for past. We have the reversed Four of Cups. And we have the reversed, is this Emperor? Yes, this is the Emperor. So all three cards are reversed. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, and actually my light is reflecting pretty strongly. So what happens if I do this? There, you can see it a little bit more properly. So yeah, that is the, once again, the Page of Swords for past, the Four of Cups for present, and for the future, the Emperor. In terms of the initial, I'm gonna just flip them right side up, or you know, unreverse it, just to properly give you a view of how the imagery looks. So Page of Swords, when it comes to the different types of cards, just as an introduction, there's something called the Major Arcana, which is, you know, if you've played Persona, or if you are, if you have seen the tarot cards like in popular media, you might be more familiar with Major Arcana, which is like these cards that have like specific kind of like names, like the Emperor, the Hierophants, that kind of stuff, and they're pretty major. And then there's also the Minor Arcana, which is almost like a playing card deck, which has like the Ace up to the like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or not one, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it goes Page, Knight, Queen, King, and then they all have different suits, like the Swords, the Cups, the Wands, and the Pentacles. Yeah, full reverse, but don't worry, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. There are different ways that you can interpret reverse. So, like, it could be that something is interfering with the original message, like, actually happening, you know? Like, let's say that the original message for Page of Swords is... So swords has to do with the wind element and your intellect and kind of things that have to do with your mind. The page is usually like a beginner at something, but they have the materials that they want to begin something that how do I say this? Because there's also an Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords means that like this is a brand new idea that you just formulated in your head. A page is also the beginning, but they have the tools they want to start at something. Modern playing cards inherited the suits from tarot, by the way. Oh, I actually didn't realize that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, the Page of Swords, for example, so she is, or like this character here, as we're seeing, is like a beginner, but at a new adventure, a new kind of mental adventure. And because I'm a little nervous, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my cheat sheet as well, because I also want to know what the mythology is with this particular figure. So we have the swords, the page. So this is based off Princess Parizade. I'll just show you right here, Parizade. This is a tale from Anatolia. This is a modern day Turkey, and it's an Arabic folktale. So the Page of Swords represents youthful intelligence. Princess Parizade uses her wit to succeed where others have failed, her optimism intact through it all. She is the harbinger of new beginnings and new ideas for those around her. So yeah, like I said, swords has to do with your intellect and new ideas. So you might have a new idea flourishing, and you might even have the tools you have to begin it, but because it was reversed, that means that something is either blocking it, or it might even be like a over what's it called, like there might be a surplus of it. Like you might be so many ideas that you don't know where to start, or it might be that something is blocking us. Like you have a new idea, it's formulated in your mind, it's not even just like an inkling of a new idea, it's something you want to pursue, but something is interfering with that. It might be something internal that is kind of interfering with that. Use your wit use your wit to fail where others have succeeded. Wait, let me see if it makes sense. Yeah. Sorry, my life. Oh no. So according to this, it could represent, like when reversed, it could represent like bluntness, cynicism, defensiveness, sullenness, or all talk. So, the all talk one is the one that I'm kind of like with at least like what I've been saying so far of like you have these ideas, but like there's just no like it just hasn't started yet. Something's preventing things from starting, and you have the idea in your mind, but like something is preventing that. Um that's what it means, kind of reversed, but that doesn't mean that it's like totally lost. Just because something is reversed doesn't mean that's totally lost. It means that like something has to be adjusted with your mindset or even with your situation in order for this to truly begin. Like these cards are in you, it's just that it's taking a while, or something needs to happen in order for it to really what's the word, manifest. Hello, Emmy. Hello. I'm doing tarot card readings. Nice to see you. I don't know if this is the first time you popped in while I was in this form. For a little bit of background, Coffee with Emmy is an IRL friend, so I don't know if you've seen me in bear form, but yeah. So moving on for the present. So in the past, maybe like you've had a lot of ideas, but something has failed to kind of like make it manifest. Here we have the Four of Cups. Cups has to do with your emotion, and it's connected to water, the element of water, but it usually has to do with emotions or kind of inner, what's it called? Inner thoughts. Cute. Oh, sorry, I mean, not yet, not yet. I'm doing a reading first for someone named Kudaketa, and then I'm gonna open up the queue. But thanks for following the directions. Thank you. So Four of Cups. Cups usually have to do with, like I said, emotion. And then in terms of the Four of Cups, just reading off of the usually cups have to do with also like a lot of choices. Over here, we're seeing a figure that is looking very lovingly at their cups, but there's also one over here in the distance. So it might be like someone that is very much aware of their emotions, while also having something coming up. And like I said, let me go ahead and look at my cheat sheet for this as well. Oh, I should also show you guys my general like tarot cheat sheet that I made when I first started, really. When I first started with tarot. I'm gonna go ahead and show you my bullet journal. Oh, it doesn't fit. The whole page doesn't fit, but yeah, I had like my bullet journal back in 2018 that had all of the cheat sheets over here. So right here it says meditation, but sometimes apathy. So yeah, kind of like what we're seeing here, they're kind of admiring or meditating on these cups. And to look at my cheat sheet, oh yeah, there's a Filipino one in here. I forgot about that. I just saw it in the artwork. The Four of Cups represents romanticizing bad choices while ignoring the good alternatives before you. It is coveting what is superficially better, neglecting a plain nightingale who can actually sing away death. Ah, so that's interesting with this deck. They kind of interpret it a little bit more negatively. So it actually might be a good thing that you got it reversed. Cause that was kind of the vibe I got too, is that they're almost ignoring what's right outside the window. And if you look at the imagery too, like all these cups have beautiful birds on them and they're admiring them, but on the outside, just out of reach, is an actual bird, an actual kind of harbinger of like peace and good stuff. So if you got it reversed, da, 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 da. Oh, you remember it, Emmy? Oh, let me catch up on chat. Note taking can be really effective. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, not all the upright stuff is happy. The one that stands out to me is there's a card called the Three of Swords. That one is straight up. The imagery is very vivid in the traditional version. In the traditional version, it's three swords stabbing a heart, and like the meaning is heartbreak. So it's like maybe you want that one not upright, but there's a variety of meanings. And okay, interesting. So, in the actual imagery, this is actually a tale from Denmark. I think I got confused because the imagery they use is more East Asian and it looks even Chinese. So, this is the tale of the nightingale who can ward away danger, and yet this person ignored it. Because this is reversed, this can mean a number of things. Let me think on it. It's almost as if you're aware of kind of the illusion. So if this person is kind of taken in by the illusion or kind of like admiring these like false versions of what is beauty and what is meaningful to them, reverse could mean that like you are not being fooled by illusions. You're not being fooled by, like, you know what your priorities are. You are the person that's turning around and looking at the nightingale and knowing it for its true potential, and therefore knowing your true priorities and what really matters to you. So that's one interpretation of that reversed. At least how I see it. Because the upright meaning can also mean like daydreaming, lethargy. So kind of going off of this, it's almost like the ideas that you have, you might be aware that like they weren't manifesting. And here it's almost like you are focusing. You know what you need to do in order to achieve what it is you want to achieve. So yeah, that is the present. And then the Emperor, this is one that I know pretty well because it's Major Arcana. The Emperor, I always think of, and it's funny because like I was telling my coworker about like, oh, I'm gonna do tarot card readings, and they were like, oh, how do you interpret the Emperor? Because I have trouble interpreting the Emperor, and I was like, for me, masculine energy. Like that is what like I always think of with the Emperor, because it's usually like this is either followed or it has a counterpart, which is the Empress. The Empress is usually like feminine energy, but this can mean not necessarily just masculine, but things that are commonly associated with masculinity. So like power, being upfront. And it's, like I think a lot of us here might be of the mindset of like not going by the binary, of course. And I don't mean to say that like, yeah, only men can be like assertive and strong and blah, blah, blah. But like, just in terms of like traditionally, or at least societally, is that even a word? But yeah, the Giga Chad, as Rokusanae said. So that's what I associate the Emperor with. Oh, and this, according to the book, is King Arthur. Like what else needs to be said by that? Like he's kind of this, I was gonna say unless you're a fate person, but like yeah, King Arthur is usually associated with like both having the wit to pull the sword out of the stone, the wit to like lead the people. So he's a symbol of strength, like physical and mental strength. Ideal father figure, it says here, warrior, conqueror. So stability, leadership, bravery. That's upright, but because you got it reversed, and because that's part of the future. It could be like either, like I said, reverse doesn't necessarily mean the opposite. It's not necessarily saying like, Pendragon, my beloved. It's not necessarily saying that like you're gonna have feminine energy or feminine, like things associated with femininity in the future. It could be that like maybe there's an overabundance of masculine energy or certain things associated with it, like strength or aggressiveness, machismo, assertiveness. It could be an overabundance of that in your future, or you're trying to be mindful of overabundance. But it could also mean like maybe this is something that is needed in order for you to achieve what you want to achieve in the future. That maybe you do need to be a bit more assertive. Maybe you do need to be a bit more aggressive with whatever it is that you want. So it's a multitude of like meanings when it's reversed like this. But to kind of go back, what we have so far is so far in the past you've been having a lot of ideas that you want to pursue. Maybe feel free, like I said, to correct me. Kicks down the door to chat. Ka! Hello, Zareth Plays Slots. Hello, welcome. We're doing some tarot card readings here. So far we have like a mixture of different ideas, but like for whatever reason it's just not manifesting. In the present, we're having maybe an awareness of this, and movement in order to make your ambitions kind of like come true, and like you're not being fooled by like pretty little nothings. You're looking, you have your eyes on the prize. And then over here we have in the future that like maybe you need a little bit more assertiveness in order to make the ideals that I mentioned here come true, or at least like to make them manifest. So that's how I'm personally kind of like interpreting this spread. But let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know, if I got anything right, or if or if everything I said is like, nah, none of that makes sense. Because I have gotten that before. Like I said, I'm a beginner. I'm a beginner with this, and I have gotten people that are like, yeah, that didn't make sense at all. So all right, so it makes sense with certain stuff going on. But yeah, that is one interpretation. Feel free if you want to either screenshot, or if you want me to take a picture, or if I could also like review the VOD too, but if you want to save this in any way. But otherwise, if you have no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and open up the queue and let other people get some readings in. So let me go ahead and put these here, and then let me remember how to open up the queue. In the meantime, have a Magmite. Alright, so here's what's gonna happen. Hello, Saku! Hello. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so I believe... Sorry, I'm gonna go to my cheat sheet. I have my own personal Discord server. No one is in it, but it's just where I put my notes. So I'm just gonna... Okay, so I think it's just open. Yeah, for those that want to know where I got the Magmite, it's from a user called Luna Noctu Arts. I'm just gonna link their Twitter right now. There we go. I think this is the person that made it. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they sold out of their Magmites, but they're going to be... Oh, you're welcome, Kudaketa. You're welcome. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure they sold out, but they are going to be making some vesties as well. And if you find other people that make merch of the Magmites and the vesties, I'd say support them. But okay, let me open queue. And what you guys will do once I open it is you just put !join, and then that'll put you in the queue. Philippines has Haruka. Awesome. Cool. So we got Zareth join the queue. Nyanda Delta. And then let me also check my... Oh, cool. So Nyanda Delta, I also saw your submission in the form. And you said okay for me reading the question on stream. Okay. Cool. Hello, confidential melody. Hello, welcome. Awesome, cool. So we got a good queue of folks going in. I should have mentioned this before, but how should I do this? No, you know what? Just ask in the chat. So in terms of which kind of reading you want, you can go ahead and just put it in the chat. So first off, let's start with how do I do this? Give me a second. List. I'm gonna put list. Do I do it right? Okay, so let's start with Zareth. Like I said, I have 3 choices that you could do. You could either do one... No, actually, if you don't have access to the form. You can either do a one card pull, where that's just your card of the day, your pull of the day, or you could do what I just did with Kuduketa, which is past, present, future. So let me know what your preference is. And then I think I already have Nyanda Deltas. And then next is Saku. Also let me know. Sushi, let me know. Confidential Melody. Let me know if you'd rather have a one card pull, your card of the day, or 3 cards, your past, present, future. And from there, I will go on in. But as you guys give me your response, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. Saku wants past, present, future. Cool, cool. If I forget, I might ask you to remind me. I should set this up in a way that you could just like put it as a command. But card of the day, 3 cards. Okay, Sushi will do card of the day. Confidential Melody, 3 cards. Okay. Zareth, this is the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Yoshitani. Ah, the shuffle. There we go. And Zareth, let me know if you want me to pull 1 card or 3. One card or 3. You have to hop off here, but hope to catch you again soon for a tarot reading. No problem, Emmy. Thank you for joining. Hope you've been good. Let's catch up sometime. 3 cards? Okay, cool. So let me do some more shuffling with Zareth in mind. Ah. It is easy to shuffle. I say as I like mess up with the shuffling. I love it a lot, but I love it too for its interpretation. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick out some cards. Like, I usually like to do the top card for past, one in the middle for present, and then let's do one here, this one, for future. Oh my god, Sushi, I was just talking with my coworkers about, like, how decks can have personalities. And like I said, that goes into the whole, like, I don't know if I'm really superstitious or not, but I do feel like decks have personalities, because, like, this one, like I said, that's my personal one. I hadn't used it in a very long time, and then I think just 2 days ago at work, I decided to just, like, you know, let it go for a run, or, like, just kind of, like, draw from it. And, like, I think it was mad at me because I drew the devil. Like, immediately, and it didn't even feel like, you know, that it just felt like it was the deck itself being like, you bitch. Like, my Rider Waite is a little shit, but it gives them. That's how I feel too about this one. Like, okay, sorry, it's not a little shit, but like this one, it feels very personal. Like, it feels like when it gives me a reading, it gives me like a good reading. It calls me out on stuff. But anyway, let's go on with our reading for Zareth. So here's past. Ooh, the sun. We have present, Page of Wands. And then we have future, 9 of Coins. So all of these are upright. And right off the bat, you are starting with a major... Oh, let me adjust. I'm looking at my camera right now. Magmite gets to touch the cards. So yeah, we have the sun first, and the sun is depicted. I don't even have to look this up. This is Horus. This is Horus, the sky god of Egyptian mythology. He's the protector of living kings, but he's also here represented as merged with Ra, the sun god, which makes him Re Horakti. I love Egypt, so I did all of that off of memory. Oh, and my partner just got me some water. Thank you. Let me take a sippy. Yes, Horus, actual Giga Chad in mythology, fought off his evil uncle and everything like that. So we have Re Horakti representing the sun, which, like, if you think about what the sun itself represents, usually like brightness, warmth, force, power, all of those things. Re Horakti is very much the same. He's even holding this, the Ankh, the symbol of life. He's on this boat on the Nile River, which, like, just going off the coloration, that's the actual Nile, because at nighttime, he rides the boat in the underworld. But here, as you can see, he is the sun. He's riding it during the daytime. He is an ultimate power. But just to check, just so that I don't miss any of my interpretations, let me also look at the guidebook. But so far, just off the imagery itself, that's what I'm getting. Just brightness. There we go. So the sun is success, birth, confidence. After passing through difficult times, Egyptian god Sun Ra. This is Horus. Oh no, wait, you know what? It is Ra. It is Ra, but it looks like Re Horakti as well. They're both falcons. Proves everything is illuminated with optimism and enthusiasm for the path ahead. Satisfaction, accomplishment, joy, luck, vitality. So all positive things as part of like the past. One of my past lives was in ancient Egypt, but I don't know that much about that life. Oh, interesting. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, this could be kind of harkening back to that distant past or even just a recent past of like things are good, things are looking up. And that's kind of what's your energy or what's on your mind right now is that like things are looking up, things are good, or at the very least, if there are negative things, then like there's more focus on the positivity or like kind of the optimism around it. Going to the present, we have the Page of Wands. Wands are usually associated with fire, but also passion, like the spirit. I always think of wands as like the spark of an idea, or the passion that is like your whole reason, your, what's the French phrase again, like your reason de the Chobit song, your reason for going. And here we have the page, and as I mentioned before, the page is like it the page usually symbolizes new beginnings, but you already have the tools that you need to begin that. So you have an idea in mind, and you even have the tools that you need to like proceed forward. In terms of this specific story, though, I'm gonna have to look to the guidebook for that. And this is the story of Muindo, Republic of Congo, part of Nyanga mythology, or Nyanga. The Page of Wands represents childlike optimism and carefree rebellion. For Muindo, every situation is made fun by a swish of his magical fly swatter. He makes many enemies, but just as many friends who help him in his journey. So, playfulness, charisma, discovery, a rogue, enthusiasm. So, the way that I'm interpreting that is like, yeah, the beginning of something new, like new ideas coming to spark. A new passion, you're ready to go at it, and there are risks. It's just like the Fool in tarot, where like with a new beginning comes risks, naivete, maybe even lack of planning or like short-sightedness. But at the moment, these two combined make it seem like, yeah, no, like like even if there's negative things, like there's focus on the positivity. So far so good. The only thing is to, of course, be aware of kind of like the you know, like not go to how do I say this, like it's a lot of positivity, but I would advise not just going headfirst into something without a little bit of caution as well, because so far this is very like fiery. You know, you have the sun, which is like fire, plasma. You also have the Page of Wands, and the wands, like I said, are associated with fire. So as positive as these are, a part of me is also saying like be careful, there's fire here. So in the future, you're looking forward to the Nine of Coins. Coins has to do with material stuff, the material world, and it's also connected to the element of earth, which is good because earth can also kind of not snuff out fire, but it can at least control it in a way that it doesn't go out of control. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Yes, coins though. Get that bread. Yes, yes, yes. That's usually how coins are interpreted, or pentacles, or however this suit is kind of interpreted. So as you can see here, this person is surrounded by all these melons, which have the insignia of the coins, and he's even enjoying one of the melons with his bird friend, with their bird friend. I should stop saying pronouns so often, but they are enjoying the fruits of their labor. I'm playing Blood Moon Torch's strat for that game. Oh, is it Insidious? But yeah, so you are enjoying the fruits of your labor. You're even sharing it with someone else, and I kind of want to see what the story is for this. This is coins. The Nine of Coins. The Legend of the Watermelon. Ah, cool. So this is from Vietnam. Vietnamese legend. Represents success, hard work, patience, have resulted in a successful harvest, and even now the emperor enjoys. Please feel free to correct my pronunciation, but my antiems. Watermelons. The road was long and hard, but the rewards were well worth the effort. So this seems like an overall positive spread, that you have like a bright kind of beginning, a bright spark. You have like the tools that you need to kind of progress through it, and you'll even be rewarded and even have enough to share with others. However, like I said, just going off the general vibe, like I said, we have two fiery kind of like symbols over here, followed by not just the coins, which is associated with earth, but this in general is watermelon plus like the river in the back. So it, to me, it almost seems like, yeah, don't get too overconfident, still be careful, know what the pitfalls are with whatever it is you're pursuing, and eventually you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded for that. So yeah, overall very positive. Someone about to get really good at that Suika game. Oh my god. Not the Suika game. That's what this spread is telling you. Just play the Suika game and you'll get the 2 melons. Is it 2? Because I've been playing the Hololive one. But yeah, do you have any questions, Zareth? Do you have any kind of like follow up or like needs for clarification? Give you some reflection in the last few years with progressive MS. Consider the false fall in line with it. So, I'm actually not entirely, or like I'm not as educated, or I'm a little ignorant on like I guess what comes with progressive MS, but in terms of like if you're going through kind of a struggle, this seems like medically related since you said diagnose. It seems like this is kind of like a look forward and almost a call to optimism. A call to optimism with some caution. So like you said, like in the last 2 years you were diagnosed. Obviously that can be a very heavy diagnosis, and it could influence multiple sclerosis. Okay, yes. Thank you for clarifying. So yeah, that can be a very heavy thing. I think what I'm getting from this very like optimistic, positive thing is not necessarily that like, oh, you're gonna be completely healthy within the next 5 years or something, but it's more like you're as long as you kind of go on your path with some optimism, or optimism, but also knowing kind of like what steps you need to take. Like if you need to take certain kinds of medication, or if you need to constantly go to the doctor and kind of like take their advice, that kind of stuff, or just the advice of experts. Hi, Ranger. Hello. Welcome. But as long as like you have kind of like both the or you're kind of like going into it with like an open mind, open heart, and kind of like taking the steps that are necessary in order for you to achieve happiness, like you can. Like the universe is kind of telling you to like appreciate kind of like the optimism, or sorry, let me pause for a second. Not the universe is telling you. I I don't know why I said that phrase, but like my interpretation of this is like enjoy the positives of what you have right now. Don't necessarily let the diagnosis, well, be aware of the diagnosis, be aware of your own limitations, or your own health. Also appreciate what you have going on right now, and eventually you will be rewarded for it, or like hopefully there will be a reward for it. I will say one thing: the deck did call me out with what I need to look towards doing. Yeah. So, and you don't have to say it in chat, you don't have to say it out loud or at all, but like if at least the imagery is helping you, or is helping your interpretation in any way, then that's just as valid, you know? If my interpretation was just completely like, nah, then you are just as valid for also seeking like, okay, I have my own interpretation and I'm gonna go with that instead. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and see who's next in the queue. But I'll pause for a second right now, just to see if you have anything else. Oh my god, have we already been going for 50 minutes? Let me see who is next in the queue. Or I think it's next. And even though I am typing next, if you still have any questions, Zareth, feel free to let me know. Hello, Novakilla. Yes, you can get a reading, but as it says in the top right corner, go ahead and type, what's it? Exclamation point join to join the queue. And then at a certain point, if I get a little too like tired or anything, I will close the queue, but I'll try to get through everyone that's currently in the queue. Thank you, Novakilla. Your interpretation was in line with what my Oracle deck was suggesting. Awesome, cool. I'm glad. So thank you so much, Zareth. Let's go ahead and put these cards back in the deck, and let's go to Nyanda Delta. And I saw that you responded in the form, so let me go ahead and let me go to your specific response. Okay, cool. Alright, so I have your prompt here, Nyanda. And then you said that I can read your question on stream. So, oh, sorry for, okay, so in the form I asked, like, which tarot card reading did you want, and you picked past, present, future, but if you ask a question, then that's more of, I only draw one card for that, if that's okay. So, so, sorry for the misunderstanding. Is it okay if I just draw one card to respond to your question? Or would you rather I did the 3-card past, present, future? Now, I should have formatted the form a little bit better. Thank you for the reading. I do feel that you're in tune with the ley lines, whether or not you use them. I'm kind of ignorant in terms of ley lines, and I don't particularly use them, but thank you. That means a lot. 3 cards is okay, past, present, future. Okay, cool. Sorry about the misunderstanding, Nyanda, but thank you for understanding. So, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle while thinking about Nyanda Delta. And thank you once again, Zareth. Okay, so. And let me also flip some upside down just to make sure that like I said, I tried to keep it like well shuffled, so that there's not too many that are upside, or not too many that are reversed, and not too many that are upright. I just want to keep it equal. So let's do that, and then let's actually, I'm gonna shuffle it a little bit more here. Do like that, just kind of randomize it. I keep hitting my mic, I'm sorry if you hear that. Okay. It's funny, when I said, like, thinking of Nyanda Delta as I shuffle it, I was imagining, you know, Lambda Delta from Umineko. But also with a little bit of blue, you know, because of your design. I like to randomly invert a few cards during. Yeah, like that. Randomizing it like that helps me as well. So, alright, so top card is passed. This one for present. This one for future. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's make sure that the Magmite is extra close in protecting them for Nyanda. Okay. I'm literally the opposite of her design. Yeah. I think it's because, like, I was looking at, like, the form where it says, like, your name. But yeah, you're right, because you're blue and she's pink. But yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we have the 8 of Cups for your past. We have the reverse 6 of, what is this, Wands? Oh, I like the imagery in that. For present. And then we have the 7 of Swords for future. So interesting. Is that Dido from Pokemon? Are you talking about Nyanda's emote? Because, oh wait, are you talking about this, or Nyanda's emote is the Lampuffs. her I forgot the word, mascot follower, but this is a Magmite. So this is the mascot for Magni Desmond, the one and only. But so let's start with 8 of Cups. Like I said, cups represents both water and emotion. Over here, looking at the imagery, we have Egyptian style These are, sorry, like when it comes to Egypt, I'm like, oh, Egypt. These are Egyptian style columns, so like kind of like the feeling of traditional. But we also have cups and then a figure that is going towards the desert, towards the moon, away from the cup. So almost like turning their back or retreating from the idea of like emotions or emotionality. So that's one interpretation right there. In order to let me take a look at, let's see. If I pause with my talking, it's because I'm looking really carefully at the card and I'm like trying to get my own interpretation before I default to like what the book says. Oh, you know what? So this is very similar to, I'm trying to remember like the traditional imagery, and it's almost like someone, yeah, like turning away. Um it's very similar to the one that I gave Kudaketa. So here, the Eight of Cups represents leaving good things behind in pursuit of higher ideals. This is based off Moses, from Egyptian, but also Hebrew legend. Ah, so that's why this is Egyptian. He's leaving it behind. Moses was raised the prince of Egypt, but realized he needed to sacrifice his royal life and wealth to pursue a spiritual and ascetic one. Kind of like the story of the Buddha. So walking away, introspection, escapism, withdrawal, and seeking the truth. So that is one interpretation over here. Uh, Sorry, I'm gonna really quickly try to look at the original artwork for Eight of Cups, because I'm struggling to remember it, and that also usually helps me. Yes, so it's someone that is climbing. It's very similar to this imagery. Someone that's climbing a mountain as like the cups are kind of stacked here, towards the moon or towards. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So, like I said, the cups has to do with emotions, right? The moon is even more so associated with emotions, or at least like the divine or everything that's kind of associated with like your inner feelings, your inner thoughts, even thoughts of things like magic and mysticism. So it's what I'm interpreting here is that, especially with like these Egyptian style things, is like walking away from what seems like, how do I say this? Like, this seems like it's like if you walk towards it, it's almost like, yes, I am in touch with my emotions, but because it's the person is walking away and they're walking towards the moon, which is more of an ultimate symbol for both emotionality, mysticism, and like inner thoughts. It's almost like you are not. It's like with Kuriketa, you're not fooled by illusions, or you're not fooled by like what seems like, I guess, the best path. Like, this seems like it's the best path, but it's actually not, because it's also very much rooted in traditionalism, or even like it's like framing this card, if that makes sense. So it seems it's an illusion. It seems like it's the best path, but it's actually not. You're actually going towards the desert, which seems very harsh, but ultimately you're also going towards the moon, which is like the ultimate kind of like you're in touch with your emotions, you're in touch with your priorities, if that makes sense. So this might be something that happened in the past, or something that you might have felt in the past, of like abandoning what seems like the better choice in order for what really is the better choice, the ultimate choice. So that's one interpretation of that. Here for present, we have the Six of Wands. And just looking at the imagery, we have a person that is very triumphant. They're walking on this colorful horse, or they're riding in on this colorful horse. Behind them is a nice field, and there's also spears that are almost joined alongside this person, kind of in triumph. So, and wands are usually associated with both fire, your passion, your reason for doing something. So, usually, like when this is upright, this is and this was, if I remember, this was reversed. This is associated with, yeah, like triumph and like being happy about your achievements, and even having the community behind you doing it. So let me very quickly look at the book. And this is the story of Yenenga, or Yenenga, from Burkina Faso, Mosi legend. Six of Wands represents victory and success. A warrior princess, Yenenga is her father's most prized fighter. Her skill is so great, he never wishes to part with her, but she rebels. She seeks her own path and recognition for her deeds. So that is upright, victory, praise. It says here though that the reverse could be ego, pride, disrepute, or a fall from grace. Personally, I'm not really interpreting it as like anything like ego or fall from grace. If you have it reversed, it's almost like there are triumphs. There are triumphs to be celebrated, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel like there should be a celebration. At least that's what this is my personal interpretation. Like there are things worth celebrating, but at the moment there's no reason to celebrate. Or it might be that you don't feel like it's necessarily time, or that there is anything to celebrate. Even though there is, like, it could be your own accomplishments, it could be things that have happened around you that like are all very positive. Like you've done a lot, and like just speaking as someone that like at least tunes into your streams and and admires your work and stuff. Like there's a lot to celebrate, you know. You just got affiliate, you had your birthday, but there could be a sense that maybe some of it might not feel deserved, or some of it might not feel like, sorry, I'm like thinking on my own thoughts. It could also be that like maybe there's so much of a rush that you didn't have an opportunity to celebrate, if that makes sense. So it might not even be that you don't feel like celebrating, it's just that like there hasn't been an opportunity to celebrate your triumphs. So though that's one thing, that's one possible interpretation. So far we have that you have walked away from what seemed like a good deal, or what seemed like the best choice, in order for something a bit more lofty and a bit more ambitious. You have succeeded and you have triumphs, but for whatever reason, like there's the feeling of actual celebration just isn't there. Affiliate was too rushed and I barely prepared for good stuff. Yeah, that could be one way to interpret that as well. And then lastly, we have the Seven of Swords. Here we're seeing swords, like I said, are associated with the mind, with the intellect, also with the element of wind. And here we are seeing a coyote who is fleeing away from a shadow, an evil-looking shadow that is baring its teeth. In the background, we also see a smoke signal. So how I'm interpreting this, and also like they have knives in their mouth, but they've also dropped some over here. So there is a lot. This is a very like imagery-rich card. But what I'm seeing here is that let's see, like first of all, this animal, I don't know if it's a coyote or a fox or a wolf, but it is afraid, or it is defensive from this figure, but it's not the actual figure, mind you. It's just the shadow. It's almost like it's fearful, or it's defensive from the idea of something, not necessarily the actual thing, if that makes sense. And in that distrust and in that defensiveness, they're kind of losing their ideals, represented by the knives. Not the ideals, like, yeah, ideals, ideas, like I said, like it's associated with like your intellect and stuff. So like fear of an ideal is like causing you to like lose something to fall between the cracks. The smoke scene in the back could be like the goal. Like maybe this fox or this animal has seen the smoke signal and it's running towards it, but something had happened in which like they're suddenly defensive, and on the way they are dropping what their priorities, or they're dropping things that they need to have with them. Once again, let me go to my cheat sheet. So this is based off the myth of Coyote, or the coyote of the Pacific Northwest, from the Salish community. The Seven of Swords is a trickster. The coyote represents deceit in all forms, from small pranks to terrible scandals. He is clever and manipulative, but more often than not, he is caught by his own schemes and has to pay dearly for them. Upright strategy, cunning, thievery, cheating, manipulation, reverse, conscience, confession, getting caught, outsmarted, deception. So this seems like a very like negative card, you know, but like I said, just my own kind of vibe from the card itself is very like, not necessarily that you're like deceiving anyone, but it's more so that like you have your eyes on the prize, but the idea of something is like in the way almost, and because of that, things are falling through the cracks. Let me think on it a little bit more, because yeah, the coyote is a trickster, and like in the mythology, it's almost like an unapologetic trickster, someone that just does things to like cause chaos. But in nature, in RL, like the coyote, like, yeah, it might play tricks, but it's for its own survival. You know, it's for its own like livelihood. So if there is any kind of deceit happening, then it's more so like for the greater good. At least that's my interpretation of it. So let me see if I can like put all these together. Could it be imposter syndrome? Like that's what I'm getting from this altogether, because it's a very like seeing it kind of like all in one is very like, you know, you're pursuing something very lofty, something very ambitious. You've done good things, but don't feel the need to, or not necessarily the need, but there hasn't been an opportunity to really celebrate. And then over here, it might even be like, it might be because of like this sense of like, am I did I triumph because I've been deceitful, or did I triumph because that I've done negative things in order to get that? And it's almost like this sense of syndrome of like do I really is that the reason why you're not celebrating, is because like do I really deserve this? So this sounds like, you know, it could, like I said, I hesitate to say things like, oh, you've been deceiving people. Like, I mean, in context, I figured I was a Dean's Lister, but I figured it out 5 years later. Dean's Lister, like as in, we have Dean's List here, like as in like you perform really well, like academically. um, yeah, because we have the Dean's List in here for college. In here in the U.S., it means like, oh, like you did really well academically, so you're on the Dean's List. Oh, cool! You were cum laude. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and I feel like imposter syndrome like affects a lot of people who are like high achievers, and they do. It's like, oh, and you found out 5 years later, so it's almost like you did do good, but for the longest time, because you found out 5 years later, it's like, oh, like like not even just the do I deserve this, but it's almost like a delayed sense of achievement. And that could be what's at play here. It's almost like, yeah, you do deserve to be celebrated. You do deserve to like celebrate your achievements, but like there's something preventing it. And because this is in the context of past, present, future, it could be that like this could also be a anxiety for the future, is that you might feel like no matter what you achieve, it could either feel undeserved, or it could feel like that you might have gotten it through like not good means, when you know, I was in a hurry to leave graduation because my sister was throwing a tantrum at my event. Oh, yeah, that happens. I know. So, and you know, like, it's funny that you use the word, like, in a hurry, because, like, that's kind of, like, what this feels like, too. Like, you're in a hurry to kind of, like, dodge this, you know, not dodge, but, like, in this card, like, you're in a hurry to kind of, like, get away from this negativity, while you're kind of like missing the, not missing, but you might have missed out on the smoke signal. You missed out on the fact that you were cum laude, you were a Dean's Lister. So that's, like I said, that's just one interpretation, but let me know how that sounds to you. If you want to take a screenshot, or if you want to ask more questions, feel free. Let me know. But yeah. And this is definitely one of those readings where I'm like, yeah, I definitely feel like I'm still a beginner with interpreting some of these things. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions. While I take a sippy of water. Sip, sip, sip. Nova Killer, where am I in? Oh, let me read Neanderdeltas first. Don't worry about being negative or have some doubts on stuff too, because being honest helps. But thank you. Yeah, and like you know, if you like I said, I do have like the meanings according to the book as well. Cause yeah, I think you can probably sense I am also like I try not to be too negative with the readings. Cause it does feel like sometimes it's just like, oh, this is straight up saying that you deceive people. Like, but yeah, you know, that's the that I gave you my interpretation, but if you are seeking an alternative, let me know as well. But thank you also for just like being honest with like, oh, don't worry about being negative, because that is something that I personally struggle with too. So, but yeah, thank you as well, Nyanda. Let's go ahead and go on to the next reading. And I saw Mega Bronson that you wanted a reading as well. So far we have 7 people, and if I put next, like I know who's next because I see it, but it's just so that it moves up the queue. But alright, so next we have Saku. And I think I remember you saying that you wanted past, present, future. Hello, hello, Saku. Alright, so let me go ahead and shuffle, thinking of Saku in mind. Oh yeah, and Nova Killa, you asked where you are in line. You are number 6 so far. Or actually, because I moved up Nana Delta, now you're number 5. You're number 5. Alright, so let's go ahead and shuffle. Thinking about Saku. Now I'm thinking of your model. I like the way your hair swishes around when you like turn from side to side in your streams. And then let me also do some reversals in the middle. Reverse. And let's do some chunks. It's so flowy, I just wish there was more volume. I like it, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Alright, so first card is past. Middle card. Let's do present. Future card. This one. Okie dokie. Alright, so let's see what we got here. So far we have the 3 of Wands reversed. We have the 5 of Swords also reversed. And then we have the 7 of Coins. Oh, I already know the myth for this one, but I'll still refer to the book. But okay, so we have 2 reverse ones so far, and then for your future you have an upright one. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here we have the 3 of Wands. Looking at the imagery here, we have both the 3 wands here, and like I said before, wands are usually associated with both fire as well as your passion and your reason for doing things. Here we have a young lady or a young femme-presenting person climbing up a ladder into who knows what, but we also have in the background, we have kind of a city, or what looks like it could be a city. It could be jolly old London, but her clothes look a little bit more Slavic, so I feel like this is from a Slavic tale. And she's kind of crawling up into the unknown. Let's see. She even has like this very determined look on her face. Below her are the wands, which like just going off of the composition seem very grounded. So she is going above being grounded. Like she's let's see. She's heading towards ambition is kind of like the energy that I'm getting from this. But it's also she's heading into the unknown. So let me go ahead and take a look at the book and see what myth this is based off. It looks very Slavic. Ah, okay. The Enchanted Pig. This is from Romania, and it's a Romanian fairy tale. The 3 of Wands represents hard work and travel. The princess takes a long journey to rescue her prince, making sacrifices and surviving trials along the way. If she stays motivated, her efforts will be rewarded. Upright is self-motivation, freedom, reward, romance, but reversed as you got is returning home, wallowing, frustration, and delays. So, if we interpret that reversed, right away, like instead of doing my usual thing with reversals in that like maybe something is preventing this from being manifested, I'm looking at the imagery because now instead of heading up, she is heading down. It's almost like she's heading down away from the adventure, but now to where it's more grounded. But because it's reversed, there could also be a sense of frustration with that. Because, you know, like, going up, you know, traditionally in a lot of iconography, going up means progressing forward. You're heading more closer to heaven. And here you're heading closer to the ground where things are stable and secure, but that's not necessarily where you might want to be. So that's my interpretation for the past, is that, like, something might have happened recently in which, like, you kind of have to, like, ground yourself, despite the fact that you have more ambitions. You want to go up. That's one interpretation. It could also be that, like, you know, traditionally what I say with reversals is that something is preventing the upright from happening. So you're meant for adventure, but, like, something is delaying that. Which does kind of go in with the, like I said, the symbolism of, like, going down a ladder rather than up a ladder. So that's what I have so far for past. For present, this is an Egyptian one. This looks like this is Seth. And this is Hathor. And then in the distance is, it's either Ra or Horus, because that's the falcon. But here we have the Five of Swords. Swords are associated with intellect, but also wind. Here, Seth, who is the god of chaos, deserts, but also transitions, and also kind of like everything that is kind of in between, like transitiveness, you know? He is that god, but he's also holding a sword. In front of him is, I'm assuming Hathor, but maybe the book might prove me wrong because she has these horns. Hathor is a goddess of many things. She's usually depicted as a cow for fertility, but also like she, things that are associated with the bull, but I think she's also associated with the sun itself, with joyfulness, with music, that kind of thing. But here she is in tears. She is bending down and she is in tears. So I actually don't know what specific myth this could be referencing, because usually Seth is seen with myths of his brother Osiris, and Hathor, she has a couple of tales around her. So let me actually look to the book, but actually let me see if I can interpret this off the bat. Five of Swords usually also has to do with struggle. Struggle for, so you know what it is sometimes with Seth is that he's usually depicted in myths where he's battling either his brother Osiris, who was the king of gods, who he killed in order to claim kingship, but then he had to fight his Osiris's son. So he's either fighting his brother or his nephew for power. He's often struggling for power. I'm just not sure what Hathor is doing there, unless it's supposed to be Seth's wife. Oh, you got auto-modded. Oh, because Isis. What the... it blocked Isis, which, you know, like, is the name of a goddess, but like, I understand why they censored it because of the group. But all right, let's go to the Five of Swords. It could be Isis, yeah. It could be Isis mourning the death of Osiris. I think you're right with that. It is. Okay. That's interesting. So, because I typically associate this symbolism with Hathor, but Five of Swords represents fights won through deceit. Set overthrows his brother Osiris and is seen gloating over his brother's inconsolable wife Isis, while Set represents a tyrant of a victor. Isis is a defeated combatant who will eventually bring about Set's defeat. So surrender, betrayal, bullying, violence, crime. That is upright, but reverse is resolution, compromise, sacrifice, peace, and justice. I also, man, you know me, I also love me some Egyptian stuff. But so yeah, this is reverse. So it's almost like the reverse of all the kind of negativity. So instead of Set triumphing over his brother and triumphing over Isis, who is mourning, there's also a sense of like it said in the book, like compromise in order to, like, yes, a battle might have been lost or something negative might have happened, but there is compromise in it. It's not like a total defeat. That's one interpretation here. If I look at it upside down, like Isis is also here on top. Yes, she is mourning, but she has come out on top, which in the mythology, she does eventually come out on top. She does eventually like resurrect her husband, revive him. They have Horus, and Horus ultimately is the one who defeats Set. Here also, like, I'm assuming the bird is meant to symbolize Osiris, who is ascending after his death. And then what's interesting is that there's also this line here, which makes me think that like it shows like Set in the underworld almost. And one of the other interpretations of Set is that yes, he is this god of evil, this god of deserts, this god of chaos, but he has an alternate form, so to speak, manifestation, where in the underworld he actually protects the sun god from the serpent of chaos, Apophis or Apep. So this could even be like interpreting like what you might have determined to be the negative or even the evil part can actually help you, or it can actually become a positive in and of itself, because even Set, the god of evil and chaos, still fought against a greater evil. But that's only when he's in the underworld. And then Osiris here, he is almost like, if we're interpreting this as the underworld, Osiris eventually becomes the king of the underworld. So like, it's something that at first seems like a loss, but if you really look at the details, it's a victory. It's like a victory for the greater good. So far, what do we have so far? We have like something there's a setback that is keeping you from your ambitions, and that setback seems like it's really sad at first, but ultimately it is leading to a greater good. And now we look at the Seven of Coins, which right off the bat, I believe this is either Maya or Aztec myth, and it could be the myth of the creation of the sun god, which, if I'm correct, there was a god who was deemed as like kind of ugly. He had like sores all over his body, but ultimately he was deemed to be like worthy of becoming the next sun, the next like sun, like the brightness, the passion and the flame. And then the coins are usually associated with the earth, with the manifest, like the material world. So it's almost like, even if something seems negative, if you take the risk and jump into the fire, you will be rewarded with the coins. You'll be rewarded with riches in the material world. So that is something that, like, not necessarily a prediction of what your future will be, but it could be like, this could be an idea to think about in order to make your ambitions real. But just in case, let's go ahead and take a look at the book. Coins, coins, coins. Yes, this is Aztec. Let me try my best with the pronunciation, because I do want to get the pronunciation right for Nahuatl. Nanahuatzin. Nanahuatzin. This is from Mexico, Aztec mythology. Seven of Coins represents the desire for a good harvest, though it might require sacrifice. Nanahuatzin must determine when it is right to be patient and when it is better to scrap everything to start fresh. Upright, this is reward, perseverance, decisions, investment, fruition. So yes, it is based off that myth. Like, he was seen as like kind of this ugly god, with like a lot of swords, but he eventually sacrificed himself to become the sun and the ultimate life giver of the planet. So yeah, that it seems like there's like some negativity happening, but like after some meditation or just kind of thinking about like your priorities, and maybe even thinking of like sacrifices you have to make, you can become the sun. You can kind of reap the rewards. So the two cards sound like my let me read what you said. Two cards sound like my struggles with my mom, and this card sounds like my streaming journey. Yeah, so like sacrifices are required in order for like your ambitions to happen. So yeah, that's also what I'm kind of interpreting from this. But you're also free to come up with your own interpretation as well. And just based off what you said in the chat, I agree. That is definitely one way that you can interpret it. So let me know if you have any questions or any other kind of thoughts. Otherwise, I will go ahead to the next person. But I'm also going to take a sippy because I'm also feeling my voice. Sippy sippy. Pet the Magmite. There's some other stuff I'm definitely sacrificing currently, but I won't say it on them. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, sure. If you want to tell me in private, that's completely fine as well. But thank you for being so open to it, and thank you for requesting a reading. So I'll go ahead and return these cards to the deck. Let's see who's next. Pet the Magmite. Yes. So next, Sushi! It's Sushi's turn. And if I recall, I might have to scroll up. Did you also ask for past, present, future? Let me scroll up. Oh, I can't find it. Can you remind me, Sushi? Did you ask for... Oh, the one card. Okay. You got it. Okay, cool. So, Pet the Magmite. Let's go ahead and shuffle with Sushi in mind. it's really like... I always imagine y'all as like your PFPs. So, like, or if you stream, I imagine as your model, but I haven't been able to catch your streams. I'm so sorry, Sushi, but I'm just imagining Punchy right now. Or right, is that their name from Animal Crossing? Is it Punchy? I didn't know how to progress with the day. I pulled the 9 of Swords. Oh, the 9 of... Ooh. Is that the... I actually remember, like... Have you seen the memes of the... Is the Nine of Swords the one with the guy that has just woken up from sleep and, like... he's, like, surrounded by the swords? Because I remember the memes are just, like... Oh god, what am I doing with all these swords? Like, oops, all swords. Punchy. Just messing around mostly. Oh yeah, no worries. Let me reverse some. With the background swords, yeah. I keep thinking of the memes. Why did I buy all these swords? Wait. Okay. Your deck knows you too much. You pull when you have a depressive episode. Just think of it as Vesper. No, that's understandable though, because that's also like a good time to kind of interest. Well, depending on like how it manifests for you. It could be like a time that you're receptive to feedback, you know, from whether it's from the cards and stuff, or just like receptive to being introspective, if that makes sense. So I think that makes sense. Or sorry, I think like that's how I interpret it. But okay, so let's go ahead and start with past in the middle. I feel like there are these three cards. I'm gonna pick the middle one, and then this one for future. Okay, let's see what we got. Wheel of Fortune. I was just talking with my coworkers about this card. So Wheel of Fortune, the Nine of Swords. Oh, and the Seven of Coins once again. So, all right. Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, I was just talking with my coworkers because I actually wasn't sure how to interpret it because like but they gave me some advice on how to interpret it. But let's go ahead and like take a look at the imagery. Right off the bat, I feel like this is based off Anansi the Spider. Nine of Swords has it. Oh yeah, you said you got the Nine of Swords. No. I guess yeah, we'll get to that as well. Like that keeps happening with me and the devil card. And it's like, why is it always the devil? But okay, so we have Wheel of Fortune. This looks like it's the tale of Anansi the spider, which is an African tale of like Anansi the trickster. But here this figure, whether it's Anansi or not, is very joyful and it's in its web, so it's in its territory or in their territory. They have what looks like either a pot or a drum. They could be drumming it very happily, kind of going at their own beat. And the composition of the card in general just seems very balanced because you have like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 limbs as a spider does. And it's very balanced kind of all around. It's even balanced out with what looks like a snake over here. So what I'm getting from Wheel of Fortune, and like I said, I have trouble like interpreting the Wheel of Fortune, is that like this sense of completeness of like a cycle. Um yeah. And like a positive take on it. I'm also just like I'm looking at the design too because I'm also realizing that like it's balanced, but it's not uniform, if that makes sense. Like it's not monotonous, it's not boring, because you also have this strip of fabric that breaks the monotony, that breaks kind of like the quote unquote like perfection of it all. And yet it's still balanced. But let's see what the book has to say. And actually I think hopefully I'm gonna type out list just so I know who's on the queue. But I'm also going to close the queue because I already feel my voice going, but I do want to get through everyone that's currently on the queue. So let me close. Hopefully that doesn't erase the queue. Okay, cool. It's still there. It's still there. But yeah, the queue is closed, so unfortunately if anyone tunes in afterwards, sorry, you're gonna have to tune in next time for a tarot reading, but I will still get to Confidential Melody, Ranger, Novakilla, and Mega Bronson. But, so going on with Wheel of Fortune. No, wait, that's Judgment. I was right. This is based off Anansi the spider. This is from Ghana, Akan mythology, but I think Anansi is found in other myths, folklore, and even in like I say the diaspora, but like, you know, African Latino, African like Caribbean tradition as well. The Wheel of Fortune is endlessly turning, spun by a trickster god. What was once luck is now misfortune. What was once hopeless is now joyous. These acts may seem random, but all fates are part of the interconnected web of repercussions. Upright, this means fortune, an unexpected windfall, karma, destiny cycles. Reverse means bad luck, a lack of control, the past, misery, and disappointment. So, just going off of that and seeing that this is representative of the past, it could mean that like things have kind of always fallen into place, or something has happened recently in which like things have fallen into place. There is an end of a cycle, and there might even be this feeling of completeness. Like something might have concluded recently that has kind of influenced how you feel now. Um, and because it's a conclusion, of course there's everything that comes with a conclusion, which could be either satisfaction or even dissatisfaction. It could even be a mixed bag. Like something has come to a close and you feel kind of mixed about it. But overall it's still kind of a good thing, because like I said with like my kind of like art analysis of it, like the visual analysis, that it's very balanced but it's not monotonous. It has a this stripe over here could be like the negativity within the positivity, or reverse, the positivity within the negativity. But either way, that has come to a close. There's no longer anything to like say about it anymore. With the close, though, with destruction always comes creation. So, like, something new is happening, which takes us to the Nine of Swords. Here, this reminds me of the Oracle of Delphi. But of course, like, we were just talking about, like, the traditional, like, rider weight interpretation, where it's like, why do I have all these swords? But here, it looks like this is the Oracle of Delphi. I could be wrong, but they are dressed in, like, very Greek, or at least, the Peloponnesian, or no, like, you know, like very Greek, very Greek. There's this figure over here, which I'm interpreting as the Oracle, but like it could be someone else. But they are surrounded by these swords, these symbols of both violence in the traditional sense, but also intellect, of ideas. They are very kind of like, they're the center, they are the authority, but they're flanked by these two figures that look like they're obviously in despair. So like one interpretation could be that sorry, let me concentrate. Also, let me take a sip of water. It's almost like you're like, in terms of something that has happened recently or something that is happening in the present, it's like almost like an authority figure has almost decided something for you, and this might be indicative of how you feel about it, that like it's kind of a feeling of despair or a feeling of like just overall negativity. And it might even be because it's an authority figure that has decided for you. Or maybe not even an authority, but just something that feels authoritative, or something that feels like is unchangeable. Because after all, the Oracle of Delphi, she is speaking on behalf of Apollo, the god. And who are you to like go against what a god says, right? Or what a god tells you. So like there could be this like weighted, you feel this weight because like it's almost like an authority has like kind of decided something for you. At least that's my interpretation, but as I always do, let's go ahead and go to the book. Oh my gosh, it's Oedipus. Okay, so the card is based off the tale of Oedipus, which I feel like a lot of people know, but just in case, Oedipus is the tale of like someone who tries to fight their fate. They find out that they were destined to kill their father and marry their mother. And then like the both the parents and I believe Oedipus himself did everything that he could to like just avoid that. But fate always had a way of kind of like deciding that for you. Um so Let's see. Nine of Swords represents this decision making controlled by anxiety. The oracle at Delphi warns the king that his son Oedipus will one day kill him. Had he not let his fears control him and raise his son in love instead of hate, the king's eventual death could have been avoided. Upright, this means anxiety, terror, nightmares, obsession, insomnia, reverse, recovery, acceptance, letting go, accepting help, and hope. So but yeah, just because it's based off the tale of Oedipus doesn't mean all the stuff that comes with Oedipus, of course, but just this theme of like be almost like your life has been dictated by fate, or at least feeling that overwhelming feeling of your life being dictated by fate and the despair that comes with that. You can see what I'm going. Yeah. Yeah, so just like this, like this overwhelming feeling. Um like I said, I do struggle with just saying like something like overtly negative. Cuz like what I want to say here is that like in reality, the Oracle of Delphi, like yes, she might have been like she and everyone that listened to her might have been thinking that she was speaking on behalf of Apollo the god. But all in all, it could have there's that common theory, that she was going off of the fumes, and even the card itself looks like it's going off of the fumes. Like there's a theory that like she wasn't necessarily an oracle, but she was kind of like drugged up on like the fumes of like the I forget what it is, but like the sulfur, the stuff underneath her. So it's very possible that like it seems like it's an authority. It seems like this overwhelming feeling that like that it's an authority that's telling you this. It's fate, it's God that's telling you all these things, but it might just be the fumes. Like or rather that like you can easily waft away those fumes and find out that like it's not necessarily an illusion, but maybe it's not as heavy as you think it might be. Um and after all, the tale of Oedipus, like the book says, like had the king only raised his son in love instead of hatred, like that would have all not come to pass. So maybe it could also just be a matter of like if you take a look at a different perspective, the feeling might not be as heavy as you think it is. And that leads into the last card, which was the same that Saku got, which is the Seven of Coins, in that like some sacrifice might be required in order for you to gain the riches that you need. And to reiterate on the tale, like this god was perceived as like the ugly god, the diseased god, like the unfortunate god. But because he made a sacrifice, he became the bright sun. He became the sun of the new world. And ultimately, like in some of the Aztec myths, there's this theme of like they had to recreate the world multiple times. The first time they made it, they failed, and not even the second, third, or fourth time was successful. They had to keep on trying, and eventually the fifth time was the charm. And we are currently living in the world of the fifth sun. So even if you've had your share of struggles, especially from like a sense of like the end of a cycle down to this cycle that begins with despair, that begins with heavy thoughts or heavy negativity, if you think if you think about it in the I guess context of like yes, sacrifice, yes, negativity must happen, yes, these kind of like false starts must happen in order for you to shine brightly as the fifth and final sun, then where was I going with this? You know what I mean. But like that could be one of the end results. That could be one of the end results. So let me read the chat. Fellow coins haver, yes. And then it's fine. I'm in the middle of an anxious arc. Yeah, let me know if that makes sense. I mean, like I said, I'm viewing this from the point of view of like also the mythology and just my own kind of interpretation of the artwork itself. Which, another thing that I'm now noticing with this card that I love so much. Let me see if I could hold it closer to the camera. There's not the coins, the corn, maize. There's the maize there. And as you can see now, all of them are perfectly yellow. Some of them are different, and even this one over here has like little bits of red, which like many people could kind of like interpret as like a blemish, but that's also just how the corn looks. Like that's how the maize just like looks. It's still tasty, it's still food, it's still sustenance. Kind of like with this, like I think one of the interpretation of this god with Nanawatsin's sores is that they would eventually become corn kettles. So something that could be initially seen as like a blemish could also become like part of the reason why you are also both sustaining yourself and others. And one last thing that it's funny. I just saw this on Twitter, on X, on Twitter, on Twitter. apparently in Mesoamerica in like ancient times, there's a fungus that grows on corn that it looks really ugly, but it's actually also a delicacy. It can also be a delicacy in Mesoamerica in like ancient Aztec times. So what one person might interpret as a blemish, you could also interpret as sustenance. So yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So let me know if you have any other questions or if you want any other yeah, did you see that too? I think I saw it on Twitter. In my work, for like I said, I talk about history a lot. I love stuff about Mesoamerica. Because like it has this reputation of like, oh, it's just all about human sacrifice and blood and guts and stuff. But no, they have such a beautiful culture that's still alive today, you know? A lot of people like can claim heritage to it, and like it's their culture is just very beautiful. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna take a sippy. You think you're good? I think I have a clear idea on how to proceed moving forward. That makes me so happy, Sushi. I'm glad. I'm glad. So I'm gonna take a sippy of water, and then we'll go on to the next person. Oh, thank you, Sushi. Thank you. Thank you. It makes me happy to hear that it's accurate. Okie dokie. So let's go on to the next person. Since I closed the queue, is it going to Nine of Swords, you little shit. Hi, May. Welcome back. Next. Confidential Melody. Cool, cool. So welcome back, May. I have unfortunately closed the queue because my voice is starting to go, but I'm still gonna do readings for the people that are still in the queue. But if you want a reading in the future, let me know. Otherwise, feel free to lurk. Feel free to be in chat. Yeah. So Confidential Melody, let's go ahead and do a reading for you. You might need to remind me. Can I get a general love reading on my connection with Azam, please? I'm wondering what's the current energy. I'm not too familiar with what Azam is, but I will try my best. Or if you want to tell me in the chat, if you want to elaborate a little bit more, I'm also going to Google it. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. A general love reading. I've actually never done one of those before. I'll do my best. Because I'm only going to be doing kind of 1 card or 3 card pulls. Ah, someone that you dated. I see. Okay. Would you want me to do 1 card or 3 cards? You know what I just realized? Wait, Sushi, did you ask for 1 card and I gave you 3 cards anyway? But Confidential Melody, let me know if you are okay with either 1 or 3 cards. 3. Okay, cool. I'm just now realizing. I'm silly. I'm sorry. I'm a silly sun bear. Okay, let's do 3 cards. You know what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but yeah, I just got too into it. But thank you. Thank you for being mindful. Okay, you got a Confidential Melody. Let's do this. So let's do a 3 card draw spread. Thinking about love and relationship. Okie dokie. Wait, what is the music playing right now? Because I think the Digimon one ran out, so... Oh, it did. Okay, let me go to another playlist. Let's go to Sad Gatomon. Here we go. And this playlist, there's like there's one song that has a soundbite that sounds kind of sussy, but it's not. It's just from Digimon. So, okay. So shuffle, shuffle. You remember the soundbite beats? Yeah, it sounds sussy, but it's Hikari crying for her friend. Okay, so go ahead, Confidential Melody. Let's do this one will be your first one. one will be our next one. All right. Ooh, the Empress. Wheel of Fortune again. And the Five of Cups. This looks, right off the bat, I'm going to say that looks like La Llorona. Okay. So let's go ahead and start off. So with the Empress, so instead of doing a past, present, future, I'm just going to try and read all of these kind of separately and then together as kind of like an overall reading for like a general love reading. So the Empress, like I mentioned before when I was talking about the Emperor, the Empress is usually associated with more feminine energy or kind of like feminine energy taken, or things associated with femininity. So like caring for others, being sensitive, being in tune with one's emotions. And here we have Maria de la Guadalupe, someone correct me, but the imagery does resemble, Guadalupe. So kind of like the ultimate Maria, the ultimate. Oh, I just thought of Idol by Yoasobi, but like, um, but like the ultimate like Maria, like she is the epitome of like both motherhood, but also like womanhood, femininity, and but she's also kind of like this traditional vision of that. She's first and foremost seen as like the mother, and depending on how you feel about like the traditions around femininity, that could be a good or a negative thing. She's also surrounded by roses, or what looks like roses, which are very beautiful and are, because roses are my favorite flower. I know a lot of the symbolism has to do with unconditional love. That's one of my personal favorite, like, just ideas in general, is the idea of unconditional love. But let's go ahead and refer to the book. So far we're getting a lot of feminine energy. There we go. Our Lady of Guadalupe from Mexico, a Catholic saint. The Empress is a loving and protective mother. She cares for and wishes to defend all of her children. Even if a mother's love can sometimes be smothering, the world feels bright and everything blooms around her. Fertility, nurturing, accomplishment, nature, and abundance. So I think that's what I was also trying to say with the roses, is that it is indicative of unconditional love, but of course roses have thorns, so if you come too close, then you could very much become hurt. And as the book says, motherhood, or like everything associated with femininity or the tradition of femininity I have to like enunciate, can also be smothering, or it could be a little bit like feeling like this is kind of forced on you. So that's one interpretation of, like, there's the femininity, and here we have the Wheel of Fortune but reversed. As we said with Sushi's reading, this is Anansi the spider. He is the trickster, so he is happy. That's one thing I forgot to kind of know with Anansi, is like he is happy, he's having a good time, but ultimately he's also the trickster, which means like what makes him happy might not be what makes everyone else happy. So his fortune could be someone else's misfortune, or vice versa. So because that's reversed, though, let me actually look back. Wheel of Fortune. Bad luck, lack of control, the past, misery, disappointment. So if this upright... Ooh, sorry, didn't mean to hit the mic. If this upright means the completion of a cycle and maybe even satisfaction with that cycle, this could mean like dissatisfaction with it, or maybe even a lack of closure, because this is the completion of a cycle, but it's reversed. So maybe the cycle did not complete after all. There was a lack of closure with something. So and like I said with Anansi the spider, he was a trickster, so someone's fortune might be someone else's misfortune. One way to read these two together would be that, like, despite your best efforts to give or receive unconditional love, there was kind of an imbalance, or there is kind of like a lack of closure. You did say that this was someone that you dated and then you became friends. So there could still be like, you don't have to say like what ended up with the relationship, but if you guys were able to become friends, then maybe this is kind of like indicative of that. Like, instead of a completion to like the idea of romantic love, maybe the cycle was interrupted, but you instead decided to go more into like platonic love, or the love that is associated with friendship. So that's one interpretation, but feel free to like let me know your own. here we have, like I said, this reminds me of La Llorona, but like just looking at the imagery, we have a girl in kind of clothing reminiscent of Mesoamerica or the Americas or Latin America. She is sobbing, weeping. Her hair is kind of like drenched. Down here, she is in a pool of water or a body of water with cups. 2 of them are still upright. 3 of them are not. 3 of them have fallen, but they are collecting the water that they are in, that they are currently swimming in. And we don't know if these 2 cups are if they have water in them. He blocked me 6 days ago as community. Oh, I see. Okay, so that might kind of be going in tune with like what the reading has said so far. So we have here she is sobbing, and then we have these 3 cups that have fallen but are still they have water. And that's the thing with cups, like I've said in previous readings, is that cups are usually associated with water, which is associated with emotion. So this could be a body of water that she just happens to be in, or it could also be indicative of all of her tears. Basically all of her emotion has become this pool which has overflowed almost and has even toppled these cups. So there's this sense of like emotionality here. There's a sense of like sorrow, but it is also reversed. So like while this seems almost out of control with emotions, this could be indicating that like you might be in control. You might even have an objective, like understanding of your emotions. But it's still happening. Like that doesn't mean that you can't be sad. So with everything that you were kind of telling me in the chat is that like if we're interpreting this in the context of love or romance, that there was this sense of like dedicated unconditional love. Eventually there was some kind of reversal. This might have been the point at which you guys have decided to break it off. And there might have been different feelings around that like this might have been an overall positive for one person but an overall negative thing for another person. And over time, that's another thing that happens a lot with breakups, is that over time this might even reverse. Like I've seen memes of like, men or male presenting people like after a breakup, they're happy and then they get sad later. And then it's the reverse for women. They're like female presenting people where like they're sad at first, but then they end up happy later. So it could be something like that. And then over here is kind of this sense of like overall sadness, almost an overflowing sadness. But at the same time, because it's reversed, there's almost like an objective quality to it. There's almost like you know why, but that doesn't make it any less sad. But let's go ahead and look up in the book the 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups, 4 of Cups. Oh, 5 of Cups, 5 of Cups. And I was right, so this is La Llorona. This is from Mexican folklore. The 5 of Cups is useless regret without learning. Jealous of her husband's new wife, La Llorona drowns her own children, and now her wailing ghost wanders the earth. She continues to wallow in grief, refusing to seek redemption or happiness. So that is the upright. That is... You love this Digimon song too. I do too. But yeah, that is the upright. Because you got it reversed, it's almost... Yeah, like I said, like there's... She's not unrepentant now. Like she knows the consequences and now she's moving on. There's moving on, forgiveness, acceptance, finding peace, and encouragement. So whereas upright, this is very negative. It's almost like you're not learning your lesson. Here it is like, you know that you have to mourn, you have to go through this process, and that's almost giving you the closure that you were lacking here. Because this is reversed. There's no closure. Here there is. There's an objectivity to it, and like you know that it has to happen and it sucks, but eventually you're gonna move on. So that's my interpretation here. That's what I'm getting. But let me know how I did. Let me know how you're feeling right now, and let me know, like if there's any kind of clarification or questions. Alright, so I'm seeing your comment, true. Yeah, feel free to chew on it. In the meantime, yeah, no problem, Confidential Melody. Thank you for requesting a reading. In the meantime, Saku, yes, this is my favorite. This is Digimon Tamers, right? Because I want to be the biggest streamer. I would sing it, but my voice is going. But thank you, Confidential Melody. Let's go ahead and go on to the next person. But let me know if you have any other questions. So next, Ranger. Now it's your turn, Ranger Genevieve. Let me see. I also saw another response in my form, but I'm pretty sure that is Mega Bronson. Okay, yeah. So Ranger Genevieve, if you might need to remind me, did you want a one card or 3 card, the past, present, future? You might have answered before and I might have missed it. Hello, Ranger Genevieve. Yeah, let me know if you want 1 card or 3 cards. 3? Alright. Let's do it. Yes, big rest in peace for Wada Koji. I loved his music, man. Butterfly. Okay, so let me go ahead and shuffle. Thinking about Ranger Genevieve. Let's do another another shuffle. Pet the Magmite. Alright, first card is always the first. For past. There we go. Second. For present. And then future. I think I want to do this one. Alright, we have our 3 here. Let's see what we got. So we have the Page of Swords. I did draw this with Kudaketa. We have the 10 of Wands reversed. And then we have the 9 of Swords. So we're seeing some cards that we've seen from previous readings. They are all reversed, but as I said before, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of these are negative. Hehe, pet. Yeah, pet the Magmite. So let's go ahead and start with the Page of Swords. So Kuriketa also drew this one, and I believe it was also reversed. But Swords represents pursuits of intellect, so new ideas. And as opposed to like the Ace of Swords, in which you're only beginning to like spark that idea, you actually have kind of like the materials that you need to get started on like what could seem like a new journey. But because it's reversed, something is preventing that journey from happening. Or like I said for Kuriketa, like there's a lot of ideas flowing, but not necessarily enough action is happening just yet. There might be some ambitions that you might want to start, but like something is kind of preventing you from actually like kind of getting into it, getting like started with it. So that's one interpretation of that. 10 of Wands I've actually drawn before for another person, not during this stream, but I used to do, or one time I did readings over Instagram with my IRL friends. And I remember drawing this one, and I remember I couldn't find anything about the myth that it comes from. But this is from a Guarani myth, which I believe is, I don't know if that's Brazilian, but let's start with the imagery first. So we have the 10 of Wands. Oh, and actually, so, sorry, let's backtrack here. Here in this myth, we have a person, I believe that she was a princess, and she is kind of ready for her journey. She even has kind of like her roots over here, like the place where she came from. And then even... Actually, I keep saying like female pronouns. Let me review. Page of Swords. Yeah, so it's a princess. It's a princess. She has this bird over here almost to be her companion or to kind of guide her way. But there's also kind of this plant life almost like kind of not shielding, but it's indicating the wind, you know, because like swords, like I said, are also associated with wind and intellect. We also have this golden river over here, which, you know, like almost seems to hint at riches, future riches, like almost as if she's going towards it. So you're at the beginning of a journey, but like there's something that's kind of preventing you from like really getting started. Oh, this is the soundbite. That's the soundbite from Digimon. Going over here to the Ten of Wands. Wands are associated with your passion or your the spark, your reason for doing things. Here, it's a bit of a sad imagery because here we have a tree that is fully blossomed, it's even bearing fruit, but it is rooted in the skull of this person. It's almost like they had to essentially die for this like fruit to produce, even surrounded by these flowers that, like, even though they are beautiful flowers, you notice that they're very pointed. They're very like there's almost like an aggressive energy about them. So upright, from what I remember, this comes from a tale of a man who was looking for his lost daughter, and eventually, because he never asked for help, he eventually died in vain, never knowing what happened to him or his daughter, and out of his skull grew a tree. Excuse me, but he was not able to enjoy those fruits because obviously he's dead. So let me go ahead and look more into it though. Excuse me. So this is the Timbo tree from Paraguay, Guarani legend. The Ten of Wands represents taking on too much and refusing to accept help. When Sagawa's daughter went missing, he searched alone in vain. A Timbo tree grew from his ear when he died, bearing fruits he labored for but was unable to enjoy. So upright, this represents being overwhelmed and not asking for help and just like feeling the consequences of that. But you got it reversed. So here it still kind of says like negative things like avoidance, burnout, overcommitting, stretched thin, giving up. But when it's reversed, that doesn't necessarily mean something negative. It could mean that you know that you're getting overwhelmed, or you know that like the sense of overwhelm, like, sorry, how do I say this? You know that if you don't watch your boundaries very carefully, you objectively know that you could get overwhelmed. If we look at the imagery upside down, for example, we see the fruit is being like is still being produced, but the skull is like up top now. It's almost like the how do I say this? It's almost like I said, that objectivity. Like your higher self knows that you could get overwhelmed. So it's almost as if like it knows, and it's already trying to kind of shield itself from that, or at least prepare you for that possibility. So far we have like the beginning of a new adventure, but like there's some hesitation to actually get the action behind those ideas. And here we have maybe a fear of getting overwhelmed, but also kind of a safeguard against it. So yeah, so far I'm looking at the chat. So far it seems pretty sad, but like I said, there's also like a little bit of optimism that goes with it too. Here we have the Nine of Swords, which I also pulled for Sushi, where we have the Oracle of Delphi, who is like this authority telling Oedipus or telling his family about all the terrible things that happen. But because it's reversed, the authority figure, the Oracle herself, is upside down. So she is no longer the authority. Here up top, however, we do have like kind of this feeling of despair. So that might actually go in line with this, that there might be like such a feeling of like hesitation that it could eventually turn into despair, maybe even anxiety. Because like I said with Sushi's, is that yes, she is an authority, the Oracle, but look at the fumes. She's listening to the fumes, and if you just waft them away, you'll find out that they're not as authoritative as you first thought. It really is just the anxiety of an idea rather than the idea itself. So it's very similar. Like this whole this 3-card combination is saying to me that like there's a lot of things that you might want to start doing that you're excited for almost, but like there's something might be holding you back, either like mentally or even with your priorities, that are kind of like keeping you from like exploring those. That's my interpretation though. Let me go ahead and take a closer look at the book, because I know I saw this one, but let me look at the reverse meaning again. Oh yeah, and we have 2 sets of swords now that I see this. So we almost have this acceleration of ideas. It's almost like an overwhelming amount of ideas even.
Here we go. So reversed Nine of Swords can also mean recovery, acceptance, letting go, accepting help, and hope. So instead of despairing at the idea of an authority figure telling you something, it could also be like hope. That maybe like, and when I say authority, it doesn't have to be like a literal authority figure. It could also mean like your higher self, your own brain being like, being like, oh hey, like I objectively know that these things are happening, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. So yeah, that's what I got out of this. That's what I got out of this reading. Let me know how I did, or let me know if that makes sense, or if you have any other like questions. I know I'm running out of water. Thank you. Cool Beans is getting me some more water. Right on the nose? Oh man. I always get so intimidated, or not intimidated, but like I've had people tell me that before, that it was like right on the nose, and I'd be like, oh, I not that I didn't mean to, but I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. No, but yeah, so I don't know, hopefully that helps, or let me know if you want like a little bit more feedback as well, because I know it seems very like negative, but a lot of it seems very like I feel like the running theme for a lot of these readings are like it's illusion. It's illusion. Like you are able to make things happen, but it might just be your mind that is like lying to you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next person. I believe it's Novakilla. Yeah, so it's Novakilla, and I believe the last one is Mega Bronson, which is good because I could feel my voice going. But no worries, I could still go on for 30 more minutes. So, Novakilla. I know you were in the chat a while back. Let me know if you're still here. No problem, Ranger. No problem at all, and I'm so glad that you asked for a reading. This is really fun, by the way, y'all. Like, I'm so down to do this again. I was actually like kind of scared that like no one would show up, and I had like all these things planned. I had like so many contingency plans for if people just did not show up, or if it was just like a couple of people. Oh god. The water went down the wrong pipe. Yeah, I had like all these plans, and I'm so glad that like people actually like came out and were like wanting a reading. So thank you all. Thank you. Beans even got me a. I'm not gonna get dogs for this, hopefully, but Uncrustables. I don't imagine anyone would be like, wait a minute, that Uncrustables is only sold in this part of the country and this time of day and this part of the blah blah blah. Thank you, Kuraketa. I'm scrolling up to see if Novakilla asked for... Tarot cards are fun? Yeah. It is snack time. Novakilla, let me know if you're still here. I would like to believe the Uncrustable is the tarot reading. So far I'm not seeing Novakilla, so I'll give them a couple more seconds. Or like a minute or so. The only thing is this is frozen, so I can't like eat it right now. I have to wait for it to defrost. But still, beans gummy, a sandwich. I'm a fan of the... Yeah, the grape jelly ones are so good. They're so good. Uncrushable. It's crushable. Defrosting stream, pog. I'm glad you guys are having fun too, though. Oh, Sime, I missed yours. I like reading tarot even though I knew I'd be judged. Oh, and I feel that too, because like when it comes to tarot, like I said, I don't even know my own stance on things like spirituality, because sometimes I'd like to believe I'm the kind of person that's just like, oh, I just believe in science and blah blah blah, and I don't believe in like, superstition and stuff, but I totally do. Like I totally do. Like I never lived in the Philippines, but like there's this tradition my dad told me about, that like when you're passing an ant mound, you say tabi tabi po. Otherwise there's like a troll, or like I think it's called Nuno Sapunso, but like it's like a troll that's gonna curse you. Like I'm definitely the type of person that would do that, just to like not get any shit on me. So yeah, like, no, yeah, Mega Bronson's like, as a Filipino, I'm forced to be superstitious. Nana, on my end, on my end, I like to ask the cards if I'm doing okay. Because honestly, I'm like detached that I have to ask reassurance just in case. I feel that, Nanda Delta. I feel that so much. Oh, it's an overall award for evil, tabi tabi po. Is to respect the spirits and creatures of. Yeah, like that's what I feel like. And yeah, I'm kind of stalling for time until Nova Killer shows up, but after a while we might just go ahead and skip to Mega Bronson, but yeah, like as much as I want to say like, oh, I only believe in science, like I do feel like I should be careful of certain things spiritually just to not get the negativity. Like, you know, the people say like the Fae in Great Britain, like the fairies, like even if you don't believe in them, like don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with them. That's how I feel about like, you know, when people say like, oh, don't fuck with the spirits, like in the Philippines and so on, like just don't fuck with them. Like, and I know it sounds counterintuitive, like, oh, if you don't believe in them, then why bother? But it's almost like my stance is like, oh, I don't like strictly believe in them, but also I don't want to risk it. What if I'm wrong, you know? I didn't used to believe in energy and all that, but my ex showed me how important. Yeah, the energy. Yes. Same. In Bisaya, we say tabi apo. Oh, cool. I have to ask my mom about that. My philosophy teacher used to say the same. Yeah, just don't fuck with the fae. Don't fuck with the spirits. Why risk it? You know? Alright, so I haven't heard from Nova Killa. If they show up in chat again, then we can give them a reading. But for now, let's go ahead and skip to Mega Bronson. Just in case, let me go ahead and click next. Yep, it's Mega Bronson, and I saw that you submitted something via the form. And you asked for past, present, future. Yeah, never mess with the Fae. Wait, you might have had the same philosophy teacher. I didn't have philosophy in high school. Oh yeah, for a little bit of, so that person Emmy showed up. She was an IRL friend. Mega Bronson's also an IRL friend. We even went to the same high school, so. I don't think I took philosophy. Or was it, to not dox ourselves, was it the teacher his last name started with an M? Because I remember I was one of those students that didn't have a last period, so I would go to his class for the last period, and he just let me like chill there for some reason. He had no idea who I was, but he was like, yeah, sure, why not? Also, black folks superstitious as fuck, especially my folks from Louisiana. Oh, wow. Oh, and it wasn't Mega Bronson? Wait, maybe it was. DM me, or put it in banana chat. Not this chat, but banana chat. But, yeah. Alright, so let's go with Mega Bronson. This will be our last reading for the day unless Nova Killer shows back up. But let's go ahead and shuffle. And yeah, going with the whole, like, I don't know how superstitious I am. I said this to Sushi earlier. I feel like my decks have personalities. Like, right now, like, Tarot the Divine, they're giving me the real shit, but, like, it's almost like a very positive, optimistic feeling. Whereas Tarot Wave over here, this bitch right here, no, I'm sorry, not this bitch, but, like, sometimes, man, sometimes. Oh, example, bad luck if you're walking with someone and you both walk on either side. Oh, I've done that before. I don't know why, but the origins of it, but I just accepted it. Like, if you let the... Yeah, oh no, I've done that before. I gotta not do that. Thanks for letting me know. That does remind me of one time I was with, some of you might know, so Beans and Mega Bronson will know, Rochambeau, and Beans knows the story, but I think there was one time we were all walking after getting pizza, and, like, Rochambeau wasn't watching where he was going, and he walked straight into a pole. But it's funny because he also was holding, like, his pizza. And, like, I just remember seeing the pizza box just, like, invert in. And I don't know, there was something about that was kind of funny. Did you guys know the one about not cutting your nails when it's nighttime? You know what? I heard about that from a manga. I heard about it from XXX Holic. For anyone that's familiar with XXX Holic. But I didn't know that, and I often do cut my nails in nighttime at nighttime. But I heard about that one too. I heard about that one too. Okay, let's. Yuko, yes. XXX Holic. Freaking clamp, man. Freaking spaghetti limbs. Okay, so let me do a drawing for Mega Bronson. This will be our last one for the night. I always followed XXX Holic stuff. Well, Yuko saved my young life. I'd be lost. I love the teachings, man. XXX Holic used to be in my jam. But if you ask me any details other than like April 1st being an important date, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to tell you anything. Or was that Tsubasa? Or both. They kind of like melded into each other. I need to show y'all my friend who cosplayed so many of Yuko's insane outfits. She's also... Oh, you're Beatrice. Beatrice. Clamp is very in tune with April 1st. Yeah. I remember... Oh my gosh, man. Okay, remind me to come back to this topic, because I do want to give Mega Bronson his reading. But I was just gonna say, like, man, Tsubasa, that like, took over my life at one point. Alright, so, let's do this reading for Mega Bronson. So far, we have the Four of Wands. We have the Nine of Coins, which we drew earlier. And we have the High Priestess, and I already know this one. This is Scheherazade. I told my friends about your tarot, and they're interested next time. Ooh, okay. Nice. Beatrice. Yeah, sure. So I don't know when's the next time, because I also still want to do the hieroglyphic stream. Oh yeah, I posted this on Twitter, Mega Bronson, but I also want to do a stream where I learn about hieroglyphics, and I will even show you my workbook, how to read Egyptian hieroglyphics. And I also have one for Maya glyphs. But I don't know. Maybe next time we'll still do another tarot run. But I'm still thinking about it. But alright, so first off for past, we have the Four of Wands. This is a happy scene that we're seeing here. I don't know the specific myth, but like the iconography reminds me of South Asia. So it could be something from Hinduism, or it could just be something from the region. But we see a lot of happiness. Once again, wands are indicative of your spark or your passions and emotions. Not necessarily emotions, but like your spark, kind of the spirit of things. Here we see a very happy scene. They're surrounded by flowers. It almost looks like it's maybe even a wedding. So this general feeling of happiness. And they're even looking into each other's eyes very lovingly. She has blue skin, which in a lot of like, if we're assuming that this is a Hindu myth, could mean that this figure is divine, because figures like Shiva is often shown with blue skin. He is the god of destruction, but so is Vishnu, and every time he reincarnates, he's usually shown with blue skin. And so this is kind of a sign of the divine. So this is maybe a marriage of the divine plus royalty, because this figure has some like jewelry on. They have this sick mustache. They're even surrounded by like gold. So it seems like this happiness, this collaboration of happy ideas. So let's see what the book has to say. Mohini and Aravan. This is India. This is a Sanskrit epic poem. Okay, so not necessarily Hindu, but from India. The Four of Wands represents rejoicing and festivities, a well-deserved celebration and a stable time to be thankful, cherishing loved ones. Mohini and Aravan embrace each other, enjoying the time before the next adventure begins. So reunion, success, pride, happiness, and family. So an overall positive outlook with the past. So you're coming from very stable, very happy like beginnings, either in the recent past or distant past. For the present, we do have a reverse card, and upright we have the Nine of Coins. This is the tale from Vietnam. This is the one where earlier we were talking about how like this figure is surrounded by these watermelons, and they even are enjoying the fruits of their labor quite literally. They have a watermelon in their hand. They're even sharing it with this nice little bird. They're looking on it happily. So this is also like, you don't just like poof, watermelons appear. You have to like toil and struggle in order for those watermelons to grow, right? So reverse, this could mean that it is, you know, like that you are like have undergone great struggle and you have the fruits of your labor, but perhaps not able or not ready to enjoy the fruits of that labor. So it's kind of similar to like the reading for Nyanda Delta, where it's like there's cause for celebration, but something is preventing you from like really celebrating it. Well, thank you, Sushi. Make sure to recover your energy after. Yes, I totally will. I have lots of water. I have my Uncrustable, which is defrosting. So I will definitely recover. But thank you. I appreciate it. So 9 of Cups. By the way, this is for my fellow Filipinos. This is the Filipino one. Page of Cups. It's about the Bakunawa. So let's see here. Huh? Oh, coins. Why was I on cups? Where's coins? Here we go. So when it's reversed, oh no, it says scams. Superficially, or superficiality over investment, work obsessed, ungrateful. Oh no. That's not, yeah, so like that, those are some interpretations as well. But I'm also kind of interpreting it as like there's like some kind of blockage to you, like celebrating the fruits of your labor. What I'm seeing from this though, it's almost as if like maybe it's the opposite in that like maybe there's a lack of gratefulness for the fruits of your labor. So, but you're saying that it hits very close to home right now, so you know it could be that. So right now we're getting kind of a mix of positive and negative. You're getting like this happy foundation, but then like maybe the fruits themselves are not being, or like it's almost like, you know, the honeymoon after the marriage, like after the honeymoon phase, maybe like things are starting to become more worrisome. But here, this I think is a good conclusion. The High Priestess, this is Scheherazade. Her story is from, I think it's 99, what is it? Oh no, 101 Arabian Nights, the one Aladdin is based off. Arabian Nights. Oh, I can't sing right now. My voice is like killing me. But yeah, so her story is basically the 101 Arabian Nights actually starts with Scheherazade. She is being held prisoner by, I believe, like a warlord or a king. And I think the warlord said, like, I'm gonna kill you tomorrow. But she is trying to actually prevent her death by saying, like, oh, like, yeah, you can kill me tomorrow, but is it okay if I tell you a bedtime story? Like, how about I tell you this bedtime story and, you know, then you can kill me. And the king says, okay. And she has this idea of like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell the longest story. I'm just gonna tell like the longest story, aka like multiple kind of like very connected stories to prolong my life until, I don't know, like she can get help or someone will rescue her. But she has this like cleverness to her. And that's also kind of what the High Priestess is based off, is like kind of like feminine energy. But let me look back at my book. Wisdom, intuition, dreams, meandering. So like just like this energy of like just being cunning and also being useful with your time and kind of having this authority as well, because as you can see, she's kind of like crowned almost by the moon. So it's almost like higher powers themselves are kind of giving this ingenuity, this wisdom to Scheherazade, as she's kind of like very like skillfully playing this warlord, prolonging her life and like staving off her death. She has her book here. She looks cunning. She doesn't look like a damsel in distress. You know, she has the agency. She has the power. So putting it all together while I take a sip of water. Oh, sorry. Let me pause. Sorry, we had to let the cat in. You might hear a guest meow. Yep, there it is. Schnackery. Poor guy. I don't know if you can hear him, but okay, so let's recap. So we have here a happy foundation, but then after the honeymoon phase, there are also some fruits that aren't quite being enjoyed just yet. But it's also looking like the future is bright. Like you have the materials that you need. You can you hear Schnacker? I'm sorry. I'm doing a reading. Schneckery. You have it in you. You have the wisdom in you in order to make your dreams, your ambitions, or like at least like I keep saying ambitions and dreams, but like if we're talking about like the fruits of your labor, you have the materials, you have the seeds to like make that labor happen, but also like eventually you will be able to enjoy it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it's gonna take some wisdom, ingenuity, and kind of cleverness for that to happen. Or if there's something that you want to think about for the future to kind of manifest the fruits of your labor, it would be kind of your own cunning or your own brain power. And it seems like, you know, I talked about like Scheherazade, like she might be kind of staving things off until she gets rescued, but she's kind of doing this on her own. Like she doesn't know if she will be rescued. So she's kind of using the resources she has to kind of like ensure her own her own fate. So to me that makes it seem like, you know, you can depend on your community and the people around you if you want, but ultimately it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to your own wisdom and your own like mindset to really like enjoy the fruits of that labor. So sorry I got distracted a whole bunch of times, but like but that's essentially what I'm getting out of this reading. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions or need for clarification. Well, I look at Schneckery over here. Oh, he likes getting pets. Nutters. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to like ask more about these cards, or DM me about that one philosophy teacher, because I didn't take philosophy. I get most of it, but the first card. Okay, let's go back. So this one, oh, you know what? I'm realizing that these two kind of go together in terms of like fruits of labor plus celebration, because this first card has to do with celebration. Let me angle it better. So like the imagery is very much like a marriage, but the actual like in the traditional like meaning of the cards, it's more so celebration, like overall celebration. It doesn't have to be marriage. It just has to be some kind of festivity or some kind of happiness. So it could be that like the past is more so how do I say this? Maybe you had a recent festivity or a recent reason to be happy, a recent reason to celebrate something. And as a result, you have the fruits of your labor, but like for whatever reason they can't be celebrated. But eventually you will be able to celebrate it, but you would have to use your very own wisdom and ingenuity to get to it. So does that make sense? I mean, you did also say you wanted this as your tarot reading. What if the fruits of your labor is just a tasty Uncrustables? Yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you have any other thoughts. Yum gib. I'm sorry, the Magmite. He is devouring. Pat the Magmite. Can't believe this Magmite ate my sandwich. I think maybe since I'm enjoying... Oh, sorry. I think maybe since I'm being held back from enjoying the fruits of my labor that I don't recognize the past things for celebrate. Ah, interesting. So maybe some recent things did happen to you that are worth celebrating, but it's only now that you're like, oh, I didn't recognize it as such until now. But yeah. Like I said, let me know if you have any other thoughts. But yeah, I like that interpretation as well. Yeah, let me know. Otherwise, whew, I can feel it in my voice. I think I'm gonna call it soon. What does the Uncrustable mean? It means, okay, it means I'm hungry. It means me hungry. I was gonna like come up with some kind of BS. Some like, it means that like the soft peanut butter and strawberry filling needs a little bit of time to defrost, and like hasn't been defrosted. Because yeah, it means that I'm hungry. It's the inner filling. It needs to be defrosted, as in you need some time for like the fruits of your labor to really, you know, manifest themselves. And then once you bite out of it, then you will be happy, as I will be. But yeah. I think I'm just out of energy, so I'm gonna call it right now. But before I go, I want to show the thing that I showed at the beginning. That like, look at the little like, don't these look like fingies? That means that like I could hold hands. We could hold hands. So lewd. We're holding hands. I also can't wait for the Vesti version of this. The tumultuous yet tasty peanut butter and the sour yet sweet strawberry jam is telling you to go to the nearby 7-Eleven or Walmart and buy food now. I like that interpretation. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna big stretch. Oh, thank you, everyone. Like, I really can't express how thankful I am that y'all showed up, asked for readings and such. I might do this every so often. I still don't know if I'll do this next Saturday because I also want to do the hieroglyph reading, but maybe I'll do the hieroglyph reading another day, and this will just be a good Saturday thing. All right. I don't know why I patted the Magmite as I said that, but yeah, maybe this will be more of a usual thing. But thank you, everyone. Thank you. It means so much. So let me go to my outro screen. Let me also see if I can raid into anybody. Let me go ahead and refresh. Who is streaming right now? Oh, Skylimit. Thank you. Let me see. Yeah, so Skylimit is still streaming right now. I could raid into her. Oh, okay, so Mega Bronson. Is it okay, Mega Bronson, if I do that for the next stream? I might want to raid into Skylimit right now. Yeah. But let me know their names. Give me their names through on Banana Chat. Let me know their names on Banana Chat and we can raid into them. So, alright, I'm gonna send you over to Skylimit. Have some fun over there. And thank you once again, everyone. Y'all were fantastic. And as always, I'll see you when I see you. Bye. Good night.